My brothers and my sisters, can I get a witness this morning? Can I talk to somebody who's ready to rise, who's tired of second, guessing their worth, tired of shrinking to fit in places they've outgrown? Oh yes, today we speak life. Today we speak truth into ourselves. Today we lay down the lies and pick up the promises. Because every morning, hear me now, every morning is a new beginning. Every mirror is an altar, and every word you speak is a seed in your spirit. So open your mouth and say it with me, I am enough. Say it like you mean it, I am enough. Not because of what I've done, but because of who I am. Yes, I am beautifully made. I am fearfully and wonderfully crafted. I walk with grace. I move with power. I speak with love. And I shine with purpose. Every day I wake up, I remind myself, I am worthy of love. I am deserving of peace. I am allowed to take up space. Say it loud, I am allowed to take up space. You see, the world will try to tell you who you're not, but your spirit knows who you are. You are not your failures. You are not your flaws. You are not their opinions. You are the light, the salt, the strength that somebody else is praying to meet. So don't wait for validation. Affirm yourself. Don't beg for approval. Affirmations shape identity and build unshakable confidence. This is more than a motivational phrase. It's a foundational truth. The words we speak over ourselves on a daily basis are not empty echoes. They are instruments of construction. Every time we affirm something about who we are, what we can do, and what we deserve, we lay another brick in the structure of our self-image. And over time, that structure becomes the very core of how we move through the world. Confidence doesn't appear out of thin air. It's not something you either have or don't have. It is built word by word, thought by thought, choice by choice. When someone wakes up and looks in the mirror and says, I am capable, they are doing more than just reciting a phrase. They are countering doubt. They are pushing back against years of criticism, internalized insecurity, and external voices that said, you're not enough. With repetition and sincerity, affirmations overwrite those voices. They don't erase all the noise at once, but they become a louder voice in the room. And that voice becomes yours, not the voice of your past, not the voice of someone who misunderstood you, but your own. Clear, strong, and rising, that is how identity is shaped. It begins in small ways. A person might start by saying, I am worthy. The first time they say it, it might feel strange. It might feel unearned, but that's okay. The repetition is where the magic is. The power is in saying it even when it doesn't feel true, especially when it doesn't feel true. Because in that moment, something inside you is trying to believe. You are resisting the old narratives. And little by little, belief begins to grow. Affirmations dig up the weeds of self-doubt and plant seeds of self-trust. Confidence isn't loudness. It isn't arrogance. It isn't about being better than anyone else. True confidence is grounded. It's the quiet knowledge of your own value. It's the steady belief that you belong, that your voice matters, and that your presence is enough. And this kind of confidence doesn't just show up overnight. It grows from the words we allow ourselves to hear, especially the ones we speak over our own lives. Most of us are walking around with a lifetime of internalized messages. Some of those messages were given to us by teachers, parents, peers, even strangers. You're too much, you're not smart enough, you'll never make it, and those messages take root in the subconscious. Left unchallenged, they begin to dictate our behavior. We don't try new things because we assume we'll fail. We stay silent in rooms where we should speak up. We downplay our accomplishments. We apologize for existing. Affirmations are a way to unlearn those messages. They allow us to speak a new truth. They allow us to replace lies with clarity, fear with faith, shame with dignity. When you say, "I am enough," you are confronting every moment you felt you weren't. When you say, "I am strong," you are recognizing that strength is not the absence of struggle, but the presence of endurance. When you say, "I can do hard things," you're not pretending life is easy. You're affirming your resilience. You're giving yourself permission to grow, to stumble, and to rise again. These affirmations aren't shallow slogans. They are spiritual tools. They speak to the soul. They touch the inner child, the inner warrior, the inner dreamer. They connect us to a higher sense of self, the version of us that has not been silenced by rejection or bruised by comparison. Affirmations are how we remind ourselves of our truest identity, even when the world forgets. And when we make it a daily practice, that identity becomes stable. It becomes undeniable. That's how confidence becomes unshakable, not because life is perfect, but because we are rooted in truth. Daily affirmations also bring consistency to our inner lives. In a world full of noise, distraction, and negativity, they act as an anchor. Each morning we declare our worth. Each night we reinforce our progress. We don't wait for someone else to tell us we're okay. We choose to tell ourselves, and that choice gives us back our power. Power over our thoughts. Power over our emotions. Power over the stories we believe. With every affirmation, we reclaim ourselves. Some people may scoff at affirmations. They may call it wishful thinking or empty positivity, but those people underestimate the power of language. Words create worlds. The way we speak defines how we see, and how we see ourselves determines how we show up. A person who has told themselves, "I am a leader," for 30 days will eventually start to act like one. They'll speak with clarity. They'll make decisions with courage. They'll hold their head a little higher, not because someone appointed them, but because they affirmed it into being. The same applies for "I am loved." The more you say it, the more you'll treat yourself like someone who is loved. You'll stop settling for relationships that drain you. You'll start prioritizing rest and nourishment. You'll stop apologizing for needing support. You'll start attracting people who see your worth because you've finally seen it yourself. Affirmations also protect us. They create mental boundaries. When you begin to tell yourself daily, "I am deserving of respect," you're less likely to tolerate disrespect. Your energy shifts. Your expectations rise, your standards grow, not from bitterness, but from clarity. You don't have to fight to prove your worth when you already know it. You simply stop participating in what no longer aligns. That's the kind of quiet confidence that doesn't need validation. It just is. This kind of transformation isn't reserved for a lucky few. It's available to anyone willing to start, anyone willing to say the words, to repeat them in the face of doubt, to believe them before they feel real, because eventually they will feel real. They'll sink in, they'll take root. They'll grow into something solid, something sacred. Confidence doesn't come from the outside in. It comes from the inside out, from the heart, from the soul. From the daily decision to affirm your worth, your value, and your power. Affirmations are not about ego, they are about identity. They don't puff you up, They root you down, they ground you in truth. And once that truth is established, you don't have to force confidence. You just walk in it, you live it. You breathe it, it becomes part of how you speak, how you choose, how you love, how you lead. Daily declarations of self, worth unlock lasting joy and inner peace. When a person consistently tells themselves that they are worthy, loved, and valuable, they begin to experience a deep shift that goes far beyond momentary happiness or surface-level positivity. These declarations become a mirror for the soul, reflecting back not what the world has said, but what is eternally true. In a society that constantly pushes people to prove themselves, compete for attention, and measure their value by output, daily affirmations act as a radical act of self-remembrance. They remind us that we are not defined by performance or productivity, but by our presence and intrinsic worth. This daily practice becomes a sanctuary, a moment each day where the noise of comparison and criticism is silenced, and what's left is the voice of truth. When someone wakes up and says, "I am enough," they're not just encouraging themselves. They're choosing to no longer live from a place of deficit. They're choosing to no longer chase validation in other people's approval or tie their self-worth to their achievements. These words are not shallow comforts. They are foundations. They bring us home to ourselves. Joy that is rooted in self. Worth cannot be stolen easily. It does not waver in the face of someone else's opinion. It is not dependent on external events. This is not the kind of joy that comes from getting a promotion or receiving praise, although those things can feel good. This is a joy that lives beneath all that. It is a quiet knowing, a warmth in the chest, a steady heartbeat of self-acceptance. It says, even if nothing changes around me, something good is already happening within me. That's what daily declarations do. They tune us into that deeper frequency, where peace becomes natural and joy becomes familiar. When people begin to declare their worth out loud, something profound happens in the brain. Neural pathways start to rewire. The mind begins to build new associations, linking thoughts of self with thoughts of compassion, confidence, and courage. Over time, those old narratives, "I'm not good enough," "I'll never be accepted," "I don't measure up," begin to lose their grip. They lose their power. They get replaced with stronger truths. I matter. I belong. I am worthy of love. These truths don't just sit in the mind. They settle into the spirit. They influence how we speak, how we carry ourselves, how we engage with others. There's a difference between feeling good temporarily and being rooted in peace. Declarations of self-worth help us make that transition. They stop us from waiting for circumstances to change in order to feel okay. Instead, they equip us to create that okayness from the inside. Every day, with every affirmation, we become less reactive and more grounded, less anxious and more centered. That kind of peace is not a coincidence, it is cultivated. It is the fruit of consistency. It is the reward of speaking to ourselves with kindness and intention, day after day. It's important to understand that many people have gone years, decades, even without ever being told they are worthy. Many people were raised in environments where love was conditional, where affirmation was rare, and where self-criticism became a survival strategy. For these people, daily declarations are not just helpful. They are healing. They become a way to reparent the self, a way to give to ourselves what we never received, to stand in front of the mirror and say, "I am worthy of respect," is to undo years of being disrespected. To say I am enough is to finally believe what no one else ever confirmed, and healing is not a one-time event. It is a process, a lifelong unfolding, but every time we speak truth to ourselves, we participate in that process. We pull ourselves out of the shadows of shame. We break the cycle of self-abandonment. We create space for joy to grow, not the loud kind that demands attention, but the soft kind that stays with us even in quiet moments. That's the joy rooted in worth. That's the joy that doesn't need to be earned, only remembered. Declarations also impact our relationships. When we know our worth, we stop settling for half, love for one-sided connections, for situations that drain our spirit. We start to attract people who see us clearly because we are no longer hiding who we are. We begin to show up authentically without the mask of people, pleasing, or the armor of insecurity. Self-worth allows us to love without fear because we are no longer trying to be chosen. We've already chosen ourselves. And when that becomes the foundation, relationships become more honest, more mutual, more joyful. Daily affirmations also help us set boundaries, not out of anger, but out of clarity. When someone declares, "I am allowed to protect my energy," they are giving themselves permission to say no, to rest, to walk away from environments that dishonor their spirit. These declarations are not selfish, they are sacred. They affirm that our well-being matters, and that joy cannot survive in a place where our value is ignored. That's what peace requires, not perfection, not endless compromise, but recognition of what nourishes us and the courage to pursue it. There is also something powerful about speaking affirmations out loud. The voice carries energy. When you say, "I am valuable," you hear yourself. You confront your doubt. You interrupt the inner critic. And the more you speak it, the more the body starts to believe it. Shoulders relax, breathing deepens, the nervous system settles. These aren't just emotional effects. They are physiological responses. The body responds to truth. It recognizes safety, and over time, speaking truth becomes a form of self-regulation. A way to center yourself, especially in moments of stress or self-doubt. Joy and peace are not passive states, they are actively cultivated. They require intention, they require practice, and daily declarations give us the tools to do that work. Even on the days when we feel low, disconnected, or unmotivated, repeating those affirmations keeps us tethered to something deeper. It reminds us that our worth is not up for debate, that no mistake, no rejection, no criticism can take away what is already true, that we are inherently valuable, and when that belief becomes real, joy begins to flow, not as a reaction, but as a state of being. Some people wait their whole lives to feel like they matter. They wait for others to see them, to validate them, to love them enough. But that wait can end the moment we decide to see ourselves, the moment we say, "I am enough, just as I am." That moment is the turning point. That moment is the beginning of peace, because the world may never fully affirm us the way we need, but we can. And that self-affirmation has the power to change everything from the inside out. Self-worth is not arrogance. It is not denial of growth. It is the foundation that allows us to grow with grace without fear of being unworthy along the way. It is the soil where joy takes root, where peace finds a home. It is the gentle but powerful reminder that we don't have to do more or be more to deserve our own love. We simply have to return to ourselves. Daily declarations are that return. They bring us back again and again until joy and peace become not just moments, but our most natural state. So now, after all has been spoken, after every truth has been laid out, and after the soul has been stirred, we return to the heart of the message. You are enough, you are worthy, and every day is an opportunity to affirm the light that already lives inside you. This isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's not about covering pain with pretty words. It's about creating a space day after day where your truth gets to speak louder than your fear. It's about choosing to show up for yourself with the same love, compassion, and respect that you've so freely given to others. Because the journey to confidence and joy does not begin in applause or recognition. It begins in the quiet, sacred space where you look in the mirror, speak your name, and say with unwavering certainty, I matter. The daily affirmations we've spoken about are not just exercises. They are lifelines. They are healing practices. They are soul declarations. They are reminders to the deepest parts of ourselves that we are allowed to feel joy, that we are allowed to experience peace, that we are allowed to stand tall in rooms that once made us shrink. And as you speak those truths daily, especially when it's hard, especially when you feel broken, you are doing sacred work. You are mending generations of silence. You are interrupting the cycle of self-rejection. You are choosing again and again to build a home inside yourself where love is not earned but given freely. And that choice changes everything. Imagine a life where your worth is no longer in question. Imagine a heart that wakes up in the morning already convinced that it's enough. Imagine walking through a world that hasn't always been kind, with your head held high, not because of ego, but because you've finally come into alignment with the truth. That is what daily affirmations do. They bring you into alignment. They recalibrate your spirit. They allow you to move from reaction to intention, from doubt to knowing, from fear to peace. The people around you will feel it too. They'll notice the difference. They'll see the way you take up space without apology, the way you speak with clarity, the way you no longer accept crumbs when you've learned to serve yourself wholeness. And maybe they won't understand the full journey. Maybe they won't see the early mornings you whispered, I am worthy, through tears. Maybe they won't hear the quiet battles you fought just to get out of bed and believe in yourself one more time. But you'll know how far you've come, and more importantly, you'll know how much you're worth, no matter what they see. This work is personal, but its impact is powerful, because every person who begins to live from a place of self-worth becomes a light for someone else. When you walk in confidence, you give others permission to do the same. When you hold joy without guilt, you become an example of what's possible. When you refuse to compromise your peace for acceptance, you teach others how to honor themselves too. You become a mirror of healing, a reflection of truth, a vessel of change. That is the ripple effect of daily affirmation. It does not stop with you. It moves through you into your relationships, your family, your community, and even into spaces you'll never fully know you've touched. But the most important transformation still happens within. It's in the quiet strength that grows in your chest when no one's watching. It's in the peace that settles in your bones when you no longer argue with your own worth. It's in the joy that bubbles up not because everything is going right, but because you've stopped abandoning yourself when things go wrong. It's in those small, daily decisions to show up with grace, to speak with love, and to live like your presence matters, because it does. You may still have hard days. You may still hear that old voice, the one that tries to pull you back into doubt. But now you've got tools, you've got truth, you've got language that holds power, and every time you say, "I am enough," you drive that voice a little further away. Every time you say, "I am worthy of joy," you create a little more space for that joy to thrive. And every time you say, "I am at peace with who I am," you lay another stone on the path toward wholeness. So let this be the rhythm of your days, to rise each morning and speak light into your own life, to declare the truth before the world tries to define you, to choose joy not because everything feels good, but because you've remembered that joy is your birthright, to move with confidence not because you know what's coming, but because you finally know who you are. There will be moments when you're tested, when life feels heavy, when old insecurities rise, when people misunderstand your growth. But don't retreat, don't abandon the truth that has carried you this far. Keep affirming it, keep speaking life, keep showing up, because this work isn't just about healing the past. It's about building a future where you no longer have to fight to feel whole. A future where your confidence is not borrowed, but built. A future where your joy is not conditional, but constant. A future where your peace is not quiet desperation, but rooted assurance. Remember that every affirmation you speak is a seed. You may not see the fruit right away, but it is growing. Something sacred is taking shape beneath the surface. You are being transformed, not into someone new, but into the truest version of yourself, the version that always existed beneath the pain, beneath the fear, beneath the doubt. The version that knew you were worthy long before anyone else said it. That is who you are returning to. So speak boldly, speak daily, speak intentionally. Your voice is not too small. Your words are not too late. Your truth is not too much. You are worthy of confidence. You are deserving of joy. You are built for peace. And no matter what yesterday looked like, today is another chance to remind yourself who you are. Walk in that truth. Live in that truth. Let it lead you, guide you, and strengthen you. Because you are enough. You are always enough. And that, more than anything, is worth declaring every single day.